Ever tried building a ship in a bottle?
Ah, can't say I have.
Me neither, but just picture this. Doing it on a huge scale,
Right?
with crazy deadlines, a whole crew looking to you. It's intense. That's actually the world we're going to dive into today, this whole Vessel Assembly Supervisor role.
Uh-huh.
And after poring over these RoleCatcher resources, gotta say, it's way more than just, bolting stuff together.
Yeah, what really struck me, digging into the RoleCatcher stuff, is how they emphasize the leadership side. Like, it's not just about knowing how to actually build the thing. It's about managing all the people. This whole symphony of professionals.
Right, because you could hand me a blueprint, but that doesn't mean I could wrangle, the welders, the electricians, everyone, and turn it into something that actually floats.
Exactly. The Vessel Assembly Supervisor, they're the ones who got to make sure all those different parts are moving together, making sure that everyone's working towards launch day, actually hitting deadlines. And it's not just barking orders either. RoleCatcher really stressed clear communication, even conflict resolution. Can you imagine having to step in between an argument, a welder, an electrician? High stakes.
Oh, yeah, that could get tense. So you're not just dealing with, the nuts and bolts of the ship, you're dealing with personalities, deadlines, probably a million things you don't expect popping up.
Exactly. And that's where the supervisor thing is so key, right? Analyzing data, troubleshooting. I bet they even got to figure out how to make things more efficient, save money, all that. RoleCatcher had this great analogy. They said it's like being an orchestra conductor, but instead of music, you're producing this incredible vessel.
I love that. But let's be real, even the best conductors, sometimes someone hits a wrong note, What do RoleCatchers say about handling stress? Because a shipyard can't be the calmest place.
Oh, RoleCatcher does not sugarcoat it. It's going to be loud, it's dusty, and those deadlines, yeah, they're going to be breathing down your neck the whole time.
So not exactly like a spa day, then.
Right. More like organized chaos with a side of molten metal.
And I bet that's where those soft skills we talked about come in handy, huh?
Absolutely. Keeping a cool head when things get crazy, thinking on your feet, motivating the team when it feels impossible. Can't put a price on that, really, for a Vessel Assembly Supervisor.
Right. So not your typical 9 to 5. You're elbow deep in it, managing people, managing the whole process. But what about the actual knowledge you need? Did RoleCatcher get into the specifics at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They went way beyond the basics, like knowing how ships are built, understanding all the technical stuff, the different types of vessels. That's important, obviously. But then they went a step further, talked about keeping up with the industry.
Keeping up, like new hat designs for the captains.
Uh-huh, not quite. More like automation, sustainability, 3D printing even. These are changing the whole game for shipbuilding, and RoleCatcher made it clear a good supervisor needs to know this stuff. They can't get left behind.
Yeah, makes sense. Wouldn't want to be stuck using old tools when everyone else is light years ahead.
Exactly. They even gave an example how 3D printing is being used to make custom parts for ships. Crazy precision, super fast. Just imagine, faster builds, less waste. Could even make designs that were impossible before.
That's wild. So it's like a mix. You need the old school skills, but you got to be thinking ahead too.
Totally. And that's why RoleCatchers stress the importance of always learning, staying up to date on the latest tech, going to conferences, even certifications to show off your expertise.
So it's not enough to just know how to build a boat. You got to be tech savvy, a leader, always learning. Makes you wonder, how do you even get started in this whole thing?
Yeah, you just reminded me, RoleCatcher actually did a whole breakdown of the career path. And you're right, you don't just, poof, become a supervisor overnight right out of school.
Yeah, I figured there was a little more to it.
Totally. They said a lot of people, they start as entry-level technicians, like the apprenticeship, learning by doing, getting familiar with the tools, the materials, the safety stuff. It's all about those core shipbuilding skills.
Right, so more deckhand than captain at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of learning, RoleCatcher actually gave examples of what you might be doing, like helping with the assembly, reading blueprints, even some welding, laying fiberglass, just proving you're reliable, detail-oriented, all that.
It's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Right, you got it. It's a process. And so then, as you get better, you might move up, junior vessel assembly technician, something like that. More responsibility then, maybe even supervising a few people, the newer folks. RoleCatcher said clear communication and mentoring super important at this stage.
So you're leveling up those leadership skills too, not just the hands-on stuff.
Yep. And then you get to senior vessel assembly technician. This is like the turning point, according to RoleCatcher. You're running teams, managing projects, solving all the tough problems that pop up. They even had this quote, some experienced supervisor said, at this level, you're not building ships, you're building leaders. Pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a good one. So RoleCatcher really lays it all out, not just how to get the job, but how to be great at it, how to keep moving up. But okay, say you've put in the work, you know your stuff. Now you're sitting in that interview, Vessel Assembly Supervisor. What kind of questions they going to throw at you? Can RoleCatcher help with that too?
Oh, this is where RoleCatcher shines, honestly. They've got this whole list of interview questions, and these aren't your typical, like, tell me your strengths kind of things. These are specific to the role.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Okay, how about this? Describe a time a project went totally sideways. What'd you do? What'd you learn? That one's all about seeing how you handle problems under pressure, if you can think on your feet, how you lead when things get tough.
I like it. It's not enough to just say you're good at something, you got to prove it, right?
Exactly. And RoleCatcher gets that. They want you to use those questions to your advantage, show off what you know, your passion for this whole world. They even gave tips on structuring your answers, highlighting the leadership stuff, all of it.
So it's like having a cheat sheet almost. You go into that interview, RoleCatcher's in your corner, giving you the edge.
Exactly. You've got the tools, the knowledge, even the practice now. You're ready to go after that Vessel Assembly Supervisor job.
There you have it. We dove deep into this whole career path, and it's demanding, no doubt, but man, so rewarding. From starting out, learning the ropes, to becoming a leader, launching amazing ships. RoleCatcher really does give you the roadmap.
It takes dedication, a love of learning, and that passion for building something incredible. Who knows, maybe someday one of our listeners will be out there leading the team, launching some record-breaking vessel.
Now that's something to aspire to.